Many thanks for choosing us. Let's begin from Parliament. NDC MPs are vowing to do everything in their power to succeed in the motion of censure filed against Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. A vote on the embattled minister is expected today, with the minority requiring at least 47 of the NPP colleagues to join them to succeed. With this looking unlikely, the NDC MPs say they will not relent and posterity will judge them favorably. You will recall that the 98 NPP MPs revealed that an unnamed wealthy businessman attempted to influence them, but said they refused the envelopes of money he brought. MP for Tamale Central Ibrahim Mohammed says the businessman has succeeded in compromising the NPP MPs who are refusing to support their censure motion. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante joins us with more on this. Kweku, has sitting started? Right, so we'll get Kweku to join us in a bit for more from Parliament. But if you been following events, you know that there was a committee, an 8-member committee, that was supposed to interrogate the issues raised in the censure motion by the NDC members in Parliament, and Ken Ofori-Atta faced that committee today. Their report has been submitted to the House. The plenary is supposed to decide on it, whether there will be a secret ballot or not. That we are yet to see. We'll be going back to Parliament and get Kweku Asante, because there is more happening in that House. He'll be telling us all of that. As we wait for Kweku, let's talk about the National Security Service that has commenced military patrols in the Nyankpanduri escarpment situated in the Bunkpurugu-Nyankpanduri district of the Northeast region. The military patrol is in response to a surge in suspicious activities of criminal networks following the arrest of some young men who were illegally being trained on weapon handling in the escarpment 2 months ago. Correspondent Elias Tanko has more.
As the number of terrorist aggression continues to grow in Ghana's far north, the National Security Service is leaving no stone unturned in advancing all 4 components of the country's counter-terrorism strategy. The Joint Intelligence Community, as part of the preparation to deal with the threat of radical groups emanating from the Sahel, has begun a military patrol in some part of the Nyankpanduri camp, officially called the Gambaga East Forest Reserve, that covers nearly 100 kilometers from Passingped near Wale to Ghana-Togo border at Tusugu, all in the northeast region. On Tuesday, the 5th of December, the first security reconnaissance exercise was carried out around the Nyankpanduri end of the camp by forces of the National Security Service using a military helicopter. The move, according to officials of the Regional Security Council, is in response to a recent surge in suspicious movement of groups and individuals towards the Garu-Nyankpanduri enclave. The District Chief Executive for Bunkpurugu-Nyankpanduri, Joseph Loknan, confirmed that the camp had been targeted by criminal networks that have the intention to use the area as either an operational base or a potential training ground.
Yes, we got that information, and quickly I had to inform NIB and National Security Operatives, and a swoop was done. They even arrested some people and then took them to Accra, and they were screened. So what you are saying is really true, and that is why we are putting these measures.
The DC reminds the population that the scarp is one of the protected areas and remains the property of the government of Ghana, adding that the government is committed to protecting it against the activities of criminal elements.
And how they can report and the identity will not be known. So yesterday joint DASL meeting at Garo was mainly on how to protect the scarp against terrorists, against people using it for training and other things. Actually, those signs are there.
With its epic viewpoint and cool overhangs, the scarp, which rises over 300 meters high in some places, is one of the favorite yet undeveloped tourist destinations in the region. The town of Nyankpanduri provides the best and most accessible views from atop the scarp, and also the northernmost section of the Eastern Corridor Road, also known as the National Road 2, passes through this enclave to end at the border with Togo and Burkina Faso via the twin village of Sankanse. This area also forms part of an internationally recognized migratory corridor for the movement of elephant and transhumans herders from the sub-region. Its position as a commercial border crossroad makes it a transit point for trafficking of fuel, drugs, firearms, motorbikes, and prestige goods such as wax prints to and from Burkina Faso, Togo, and Benin. The Nakpanduri part of the Scarp has long been a lawless area, particularly in the 2000s when criminal gangs led by the notorious Johnson Combian took advantage of the state's weak presence, in particular of the security forces, to multiply the number of robberies, smuggling, theft, and looting on the road. The road had become dangerous, so much so that it was almost impossible to travel at night until a security operation led to the arrest of Combian and his gang. Very recently, in June of this year, the National Security Service issued an advisory informing the public about an alleged suspicious movement of armed turban-wearing men who were transiting on motorcycles towards Garu. Are these enough signs or intimations that violent extremist groups are attempting to settle and operate from the Nakpanduri camp? Only time will tell. Ilyas Sultanko, JoyNews.
There's no other way to enter the law school except through the entrance exams. That's the assurance from the director of the Ghana Law School, Berimaya Okodiopon, speaking at the matriculation of about 700 students into the school for the 2022-2023 academic year. He mounted a strong defense for the admission system and urged all prospective students to work hard to meet the standard.
Admission into the Ghana School of Law has been dogged with controversy and made headlines every year due to the rate of failure amidst claims of leakage of exam questions. But the director of the law school, Berimaya Okodiopon, maintains the systems are robust and credible.
Person which unfortunately seems to be gaining unfortunate currency that this school and those who manage it have made conscious effort to restrict access is false, and those who make it known know that to be the fact. If this is the school where all persons have access, it doesn't matter your challenge. So go and spread the news, the good news, that in this school everybody have access. Once you qualify, that is the academic qualification, and also equally importantly, once you meet the eligibility criteria, which is about good conduct.
And yet, for all who are lucky to have made a pass this year, it is not a done deal. They are expected to be guided by the rules and regulations of the school, failing which sanctions will apply.
You cannot just be praying without watching. And faith without works is a nullity, as the lawyers will say. So it calls on you to be hard-working. Calls on you to put on the armor of hard work and respect. Wake up early, earlier than you should be. Get to the school, even though you'll be doing 2 days a week. I know for a fact, and I can testify, that the law hates part-time.
The registrar of the Ghana School of Law also advised students to be tolerant and embrace their responsibility as law students.
Take responsibility for your learning or success. You are accountable to yourself. Leave whatever it is you have achieved behind you. The networking starts here. Note that some years down the line, you will be appearing before your mates, who will be judges, or you'll be doing cases with others on the other side. Embrace differences.
Elisha Pamford's report for JoyNews.
The National Teaching Council is urging teachers to embrace the digitalization drive and any new reform introduced by policymakers to improve the profession. Speaking at a breakfast meeting to acknowledge sponsors of the Ghana Teacher Prize 2022, Chairman of the Council, Hanis Hafa, said policies such as the teacher licensure regime are all aimed at sanitizing the system and making the Ghanaian teacher world-class. Tracy Asamoah has more in the following report.
The 2022 Ghana's Teacher Prize was held in Tamale on October 5, 2022. The event, organized by the National Teaching Council in collaboration with Ghana Education Service and Ministry of Education, saw a total of 23 finalists announced for special awards, with Stella Jima-Labi emerging the overall best teacher. She endorsed the award scheme as credible and urged colleague teachers to work hard for the next season.
If there is one word to use for the award scheme, then I would say is openness. Initially, we used to all hear of a myth that they will give it to their people, but I want to assure you, wherever you are that people. And so when it's open, put in your application, and if you qualify, nobody will deny you of that. Be extra. Whatever you are doing, don't just relax. Don't do the normal things that people are doing. And don't forget the grace of God. The grace sustains. And so if you have the grace, if you are extra, and when you are extra and you go the extra mile and you help freely, most of the times we always expect something in return when we are given. Give freely. Be extra.
At a breakfast meeting to acknowledge the sponsors of the award scheme, Deputy Education Minister Johnny Timfojo told JoyNews government continues to acknowledge the role of teachers in the provision of quality education in the country and will roll out measures to improve their welfare and output.
We are demonstrating that beyond rhetorics, it's not just lip service. Teachers are so important. Teachers are transforming communities one at a time, transforming the futures of generations one people at a time, giving a future to our children. The world only moves by knowledge and innovation, and teachers are the center of this pursuit. So again, we salute our gallant teachers, members of the noble profession, and we want to assure you on behalf of the President, His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, on behalf of the Minister for Education, Dr. Yawose Duchum, and everyone in the education fraternity, that we shall continue to do more for your welfare.
Chairperson of the National Teaching Council, Mr. Anisafa, said lifelong learning for the teacher is crucial for growth and relevance. He assured of the Council's commitment to maintain a high standard in the teaching profession.
Now, what we want to do is recognize teachers and also, most important, licensed teachers. You know, for as long as I've been in the classroom, I've been licensed. What licensing does, it gives you the confidence that you belong to a noble profession. Degrees have expiration dates, you know. So what lifelong learning does, it helps you to understand where you came from, where you are now, and where you are going to the future. These are the elements that we want to introduce to a teaching profession. We want a teacher to stand straight and upright and know that the country depends on us.
The multimedia group received the silver sponsor awarded in recognition of its support to the Ghana Teacher Prize. Tracy Asamoah's report read to you.
Let's go back to Parliament, where NDC MPs are vowing to do everything in their part to succeed in the motion of censure filed against Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. A vote on the embattled minister is expected today, with a minority requiring at least 47 of their NPP colleagues to join them to succeed. With this looking unlikely, the NDC MPs say they will not relent and posterity will judge them favorably. You will recall that the 98 NPP MPs revealed that an unnamed wealthy businessman attempted to influence them but said they refused the envelopes of money he brought. MP for Tamale Central Ibrahim Mohammed says the businessman has succeeded in compromising the NPP MPs who are refusing to support the censure motion. Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante now joins us with more. Kweku, tell me what's happening in Parliament. Has sitting begun? Kweku, unmute. Kindly unmute for me.
Sitting hasn't started yet. MPs are filing in. As we speak, I look at the screen that is just behind me. I see a number of the minority MPs already in the House. NPP MPs are also coming in. And so it's expected that very soon the House will fill up, the Speaker will come in and gavel the House in session. A number of business has been listed on the other paper. But our understanding is that the House will focus on this business having to do with the censure, get it out of the way before they'll consider other business. So it's expected to be what the MPs are going to focus on. and NPP MPs, as we've heard, say that they are not going to vote on this censure motion. We had a statement from the party directing them to abstain from the vote. It is yet to be seen if they will comply. But it seems that NPP MPs will be on the floor of the House. But the expectation is that they will not vote in the censure motion. But Murtala Ibrahim Mohammed says that the House will continue to take this decision because posterity will be looking back, they will be judging MPs for this.
Now, how is this process supposed to look like? Kindly take us through.
So the censure motion was referred to a committee. The committee has heard from the specific witnesses. They've heard from the finance minister, they've heard from PIAC and other such agencies. What is now happening will be that the committee will present their report. The expectation is that the committee will not make a clear-cut recommendation to say censure the minister or not. The committee will present evidence, the findings that they had from the various persons that they heard from. They will put that before MPs. Then MPs will take that up and debate. When that debate ends, the Electoral Commission vote. You recall that election of the Speaker of Parliament, that vote on Kojo Ponkuma and other ministers were vetted by the Appointments Committee. The booth will be brought out, and then the Speaker of Parliament will call out the names of MPs in alphabetical order to vote as to whether or not they want Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta to be censured. When that happens, the Speaker of Parliament will finally conclude the debate on that, and then a decision will be taken.
Now, it does look like the minority will not get the numbers, but of course, what do they need to be able to push this through? I mean, the constitutional threshold.
They need 2/3 of members of parliament to support this censure motion. They have only 136 MPs. It will mean that they will need at least 47 NPP MPs to join them. That's a tall order. Ordinarily, that should not be a big deal because 98 NPP MPs are already raising issues. They say they want the minister out. So if they were to join the minority in this, the finance minister would lose this censure motion and he will be kicked out of office. But they've said that they are not in support of the specific effort of the minority. And because of this, they are not going to support that. And that would mean that the minority censure motion will not succeed.
Well, there are conversations about a secret ballot that could be dire for the finance minister. What signals are you picking? Does it look like we will be getting here?
Of course, it will be a secret ballot. When it comes to votes on any decision to take out someone from office or to put someone in office in parliament, it is by secret vote. So what is going to happen is the Electoral Commission vote will come in the House today, MPs will vote alone. But what is going to happen, like I've told you, is that NPP have asked their MPs not to vote on this matter. They will abstain. So only 136 NPP MPs, if all of them are on the floor, will vote. That will not be enough to meet the constitutional threshold of 2/3 of MPs to kick someone out of office. So like I've said, the censure motion will go ahead, the vote will be held, but the minority will not get the required number because NPP MPs will not vote.
What can you say about the MPs themselves? Are they in the House? How many are in the House so far?
So what is going to happen is that our understanding is that NPP MPs are going to come in their numbers, the same as the NDC MPs, but it's going to take some political considerations. We don't know if the majority will be debating, whether they'll be making some case, because if you're going to debate, then the expectation is that you're going to vote to, as it were, back the position you took in your debate. And so that will be seen on the floor of the House very soon if the Speaker of Parliament comes in and governs the House in session. But then afterwards, the votes that will be expected is that the majority are insisting that they're not going to vote. I've been speaking to some of the NPP MPs off the record. They're not very happy with that decision. Some of them want to go ahead and vote and then decide whether or not they want to give Ken Ofori-Atta some more time. But the party has given them some directive, and the majority chief rep is also whipping them in line to comply with this party directive. So in the next few minutes, in the next few hours, when Parliament starts sitting, we'll be left to be seen if the NPP MPs will be complying to this directive. But off the record, some of them have been telling me that they wanted to vote, they want to go in there and take a decision. Of course, they are not telling me whether or not they will vote to remove Ken Ofori-Atta or not, but at least they want to be given a chance to make that decision. But the party says, no, you are not allowed to vote, you have to abstain. And when the speaker comes onto the floor and the business starts, we'll see whether that will be complied with.
Kweku Asante is our parliamentary affairs correspondent. Certainly, this is the channel where you need to stay for all that will happen in Parliament, because we've got you covered. And on election headquarters this afternoon, the big guns are slugging it out for who takes charge of running the National Democratic Congress into the 2024 elections. That contest will be decided on the 17th of December this year. But before then, party delegates will have to decide who will lead the charge in galvanizing the youth. So in barely 2 days, the party will meet to elect its new national youth organizer. The stakes are high for contestants in the battle. The incumbent George Opariado is now facing a stiff contest. My colleague Samuel Mbura of the political desk throws a spotlight on the man who is determined to see off his rivals and extend his tenure.
Youth wing that was totally dead. Over 80 constituency branches were trained by George Opariado.
That is George Opariado, known as Pablo in the political circles. He is not only the incumbent, but one with years of grassroots political experience. He was once the youngest ever municipal chief executive for Ikuapim North in the Eastern region, appointed by the late John Evans Atamis regime in 2009 at the age of 27 years. He has tasted his fair share of political defeats, losing twice as a parliamentary candidate for the Okere constituency. In 2018, he tasted victory and became youth organizer for the NDC, promising a revolution in resources mobilization.
2018, maybe a national youth organizer on my own. The top pickups 5 at the NDC youth wing. I gave out motorbikes. I have been quiet because of certain things.
Today, Pablo believes the NDC is getting stronger under his watch.
Look at the 10 we have today. The most vibrant. Look at the NDC's performances in 2020 on those campuses.
He facing another contest this time is promising to make the youth wing even more attractive.
We are looking at making sure that we recruit a lot of more young people. We have laid down cogent measures, good strategies that are going to attract any more young people to the NDC.
This will be a tough contest. Roger Jemfi, his close contender in the last election, who is also a former youth organizer of the NDC in the Ashanti region, is back in the race again.
We have presented a very timid youth front, which is not good for us as an opposition party. The posture is not what Ghanaians want to see. Very weak. We need to change that face.
This time, he appears more prepared to face the incumbent and has already started punching holes into some achievements of Pablo. He has, for instance, dismissed as untrue claims that he bought and distributed vehicles to all constituencies with his own resources. He said former President John Mahama funded it and wants him to stop peddling what he describes as lies to delegates.
I have decided not to speak, but don't resort to cheap propaganda and insults. And I do politics of conviction. I have served the NDC work.
This weekend, the delegates will decide who to believe.
Away from the NDC, some frustrated mobile telecom subscribers whose SIM cards have been blocked are asking the Ministry of Communication to reverse its decision until the NIA is able to print Ghana cards. A number of those affected by the SIM blocking exercise have already registered for the Ghana card but are unable to access their printed cards after months of processing for updates, missing, and new cards. The National Identification Authority has confirmed shortage of blank cards for printing new cards, a situation preventing some subscribers from registering to unblock their SIMs. Love FM's Erastus Asaridonko has more.
Wind queues form at MTN offices in Kumasi. These are mostly customers whose SIM cards have been blocked because they have not linked or properly registered with their Ghana cards.
I bought the SIM card and registered at the office. On Friday, I realized my line was blocked. I have queued here since morning. It is the money loaded on my wallet I want to have access to.
Some of them have been queuing since dawn and tempers are rising. Some have ignored calls to register their cards.
He said, if you are an employee, you cannot leave your job to come here to register your SIM. I was hoping telecom agents be deployed to ease the process. I got here at dawn and have been queuing since.
Others had issues with missing or damaged Ghana cards, and it has taken months to get new ones.
I misplaced my Ghana card. I have gone for a replacement. It's been 4 months and I have not received it. It is my money I want retrieved. I have my Ghana card, but they say it isn't functioning. He said, I wanted to cash out the money I had left on my wallet. I reached Kumasi and realized my SIM had been blocked. What do I do?
A fully packed NIA office in Kumasi with chaotic scenes bears testimony to frantic efforts to get Ghana cards, a requirement to unblock SIM cards. The NIA had a backlog of 83,822 unprinted cards in the Ashanti region as at 30th November 2022. The authority says there is a shortage of blank cards to print the close to 90,000 outstanding cards. Emmanuel Arthur is Regional Registration Officer.
The main problem has to do with we not having enough blank cards to print the records for them. And we are working on getting more cards to satisfy everyone. When we have blank cards today, we don't mind sacrificing our sleep to print cards for people to have their cards and go about their daily lives.
Some angry customers want the communication minister to review the decision to block SIM cards.
The problem with my card was the name. My husband's surname was supposed to be included. I was directed to do an affidavit. Yet I have not gotten my card. Today is the 25th time I have been here.
Office by office. Government should at least extend the time for us so that we can get our cards and register for our SIMs.
But ironically, interestingly, we have quite a number of cards printed, stored here. Announcements have been made, but people are not collecting them. And so it's quite an interesting situation with regards to obtaining your Ghana card vis-a-vis unblocking your lines and those who have been blocked. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaridonko, Kumasi.
Many teachers have over the years refused posting to Manfi for EP Basic School in the Central Town District of the Volta region. Those who accept postings there must travel several kilometers to school on a daily basis. This is because there's no accommodation for them in the community, and this has impacted teaching and learning. To avert a further decline in the academic performance of the pupils, the youth of the area decided to contribute their widow's mite to build a teacher's bungalow. Enjoy Prime's latest feature titled Building a Village Dream. My colleague Emmanuel Jiveno visited the community and has filed this report.
A busy day at Manfi Amfoe, a farming community in the Central Town District of the Volta region. The laborious efforts of the workers involved in this building will not be compensated. They are eager to finish this project so they can attract teachers to their community and raise the standards of education. Because of the deprived nature of the community and the poor accommodation, many teachers refuse to accept postings to the EP Basic School, which serves over 400 pupils. The chief of Manfi Amfoe, Todbidra Abuetaka IV, is concerned about the poor state of education in his village.
Last 2 years or so, the school performed poorly, very, very poorly. And we attribute all these things to teachers living outside the communities. So it has affected the teaching and learning of the pupils.
Teachers who accept postings to Manfiafua travel long distances to school every day.
The nature of the road, they come, Togbi and his elders have to be looking for accommodation for them 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month. They are discouraged, and some of them go and they don't come back again. So it's affecting the teaching and learning in the community. People have to travel about 15 kilometers from Sugakope, or about 5 kilometers, because there is no accommodation there. They hire room over there and come down to teach here. At times, because of the transport problem, they delay in coming.
Civic. Again.
To attract more teachers and halt the further decline in the academic performance of the pupils, the youth of the community decided to contribute 10 cedis monthly to buy building materials for a bungalow. Skilled workers in the town offer their services for free. Wafa Sedbe is excited to be part of this project.
It is the youth that came together and then they form a WhatsApp group, and through that they said, if you know you are from this community, whether living here right now or not, you have to contribute something every month. So the money they have contributed every month, that makes them started this project. Actually, we can't say the government should do everything. If we should say the government should do everything, our children's, their performance will still be going down.
Let's take you back to Parliament. You certainly know what will happen today. There is a debate or a decision on the censure motion against the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta. Parliamentary sitting has started. The Speaker, Alban Bagbin, is currently addressing the House.
Page 19. Page 20. Page 21. Page 22, page 23, page 24,
This is where to stay for all that will happen in Parliament today, because our lenses are widely opened and stationed in Parliament for you. We'll take a break on JoyNews today. When we return, there is more coming up on JoyNews today.